You're listening to the voice of IWA Flip here on Interfed Radio. Back by popular demand, the man of the hour, Melvin Mayhem. Melvin, welcome
How's it
back.
going? Thank you. Glad to be back.
Oh man, you know what? We had so many people hit that button real quick and come check out your video that we decided to bring you back to get an inside or an in-depth look at the WWL because there's so much happening, and we just
Yeah,
couldn't squeeze it into 1 hour. So
that's true.
here we are back for
Listen,
another one. Let's see. Yeah.
I'm glad to be back. That's all I can say.
Oh yeah, no, like I said, last time we went about an hour. We'll see how long this one goes. Hopefully we can get everybody all the wonderful information that's going on right there in the WWL and
Definitely,
keep some more action going right there.
definitely. I'm with it.
Now, I know I say this a lot and then I just start rambling, but this show this show right here, I'm definitely gonna go ahead and let Melvin Mayhem lead so he can get you guys an inside look at this WWL, and I'm gonna sit back and kind of just Melvin, if you don't mind, I'll drop a question here and there, just give my
Sure.
insight here and there. But go ahead, take it away, brother. It's all yours.
Absolutely, Flip. One of the things I wanna kind of piggyback on the last show that we had. I was saying something towards the end regarding the match deal and the transfers and stuff. I did say at the end of the last show that I was gonna close out the league, that there would be no more transfers. But after careful consideration, I have been talking with some other managers that are inbound, either the coming cycle or some cycle soon after that. So I spoke with Kimberly and I made a deal with her in an arrangement. They actually updated the homepage to reflect this change so that you guys know that this is for real and it's official. But again, you still have to go through me. So any manager that wants to come through the league still has to contact me directly. And the email is newbloodmayhem@gmail.com. If I do feel you're a fit for the league, in your debut cycle, if you do take the $12 match deal, all fees are waived for the 8 max roster. So that means any transfer fees, any name changes, any creation fees. If you want to bring people back from the graveyard, because some people choose to do that, they might have an old wrestler from however long back that they want to bring back. All those fees will get waived if you take the $12 match deal. Plus, you get the 2020 normal and the 2 free battle royal entries on top of that. So I think that's actually a really great deal.
Okay, now you mentioned Graveyard, and I think you're the first one that's actually mentioned the Graveyard. What's the
Really?
Graveyard?
Oh no, that's basically when some managers they go inactive for so long that their wrestlers get kicked out of the leagues and they go inactive. And once that happens, they get sent to what's called the IWA graveyard, and that's where your wrestlers go to die, so to speak. But if you choose to, you can bring them back from the dead, so to speak, and they'll reactivate that wrestler, and that's called bringing them back from the graveyard. I actually did that with Irritated Cannibal right now in the WWL. That's my guy that's currently feuding with Skyblade. I brought him back from the dead from ECO and brought him over into the WWL.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's an option for some people. I think the only thing is that they wipe out the record, whatever. So some people say it's kind of like the same as just creating a new wrestler, but it's almost the same thing. But some people like to just bring them back anyway.
Gotcha.
That's what I chose to do. But so yeah, that is the deal that I wanted to touch on and clarify that for any of the managers that are probably wondering about that. That is the final deal regarding WWL and joining and taking that match deal. So for me, it's great. And you guys still do get if you any manager that takes 3 consecutive match deals, the fourth cycle following that third one, you get the 3-for-1 cycle plus the 2 free battle royal entries. So it's a really good deal.
Nice.
Yeah, throw little perks here and there. So got to make it interesting. But
Oh yeah,
another
especially this is the era of match deals right now because everybody seems to be
it really is.
oh yeah, everybody's hunting one down. So, but hey, you know what? It keeps it interesting. So I said, go get it.
Yeah, why not? I know some managers, I mean, some commissioners are doing it to get activity up for the league. Some are doing it just to get it, give something back to the managers. Whatever your cup of tea is, it's fine. Everybody has their reasons, but at the end of the day, it benefits everybody. So I think it's a great thing for anybody to do that. So I mean, that's my little take on giving back to the managers. But I guess the another thing I wanted to touch on also, I didn't get to mention this in the last show, and this is actually the currently is going to be the biggest tournament that's going to be going on in the WWL, and that's called the Calamity Contract Invitational Tournament. This is gonna be like the granddaddy tournament in my league. So anybody that's in the league now or comes in the next few cycles, if they're lucky to get a spot, is 16 slots available. Currently, right now, I have 4 wrestlers locked in. That's Renegade Slade Stevens. I have Skyblade the Tiger King, Hal Uranus, and Panama City Playboy Shane Cole. Those 4 are locked in. I still do have 12 spots available. It's first come, first serve. $1 entry fee per wrestler is 1 per manager. And the prize is pretty big. It's 1 million in iCash, 25 free matches, and you also get the Calamity Contract briefcase, which means it's basically our version of Money in the Bank, where you get to cash in anytime, anywhere, any place against any Mayhem manager. It could be singles, it could be female, it could be any of the multis that we have. It's really up to the winner of whatever it is, what route they want to take. They can do a shock cash in, they can play it out at an angle, whatever way they choose is up to them. But that's a really big deal, and it is round robin style, so it's going to play
Nice.
out over the next year. So yeah, it's
Nice.
pretty big.
And like you said, it is round robin, so
Yes.
intended to it is intended to be the center of attention throughout 2019. So that tournament is it's
Exactly.
going to kick off in January, Melvin. Is that the
Yes, I'm trying to shoot for January. I'm trying to coincide the tournaments beginning at Wicked City Chaos, which is the first pay-per-view. That's kind of one of the things I've always done. Even when I was a commissioner of the New Blood League, I like kicking off tournaments at pay-per-views. It gives the pay-per-view even more of a spotlight and spectacle. So hopefully in the next, 3 cycles, everything will be locked in and we're ready to go with these tournaments.
nice?
So yeah, that's one of the things I want to touch on. Another thing was I mentioned to you off air the last time. I don't think I mentioned it on the show, but one of the main things I was trying to get was for the league to within the first 4 cycles, another deal I reached with Kim. And luckily it only took me 2 cycles and not 4 or 5 like she was asking. But because the WWL managed to hit 50 cards in the first 2 cycles, I actually was able to secure my old New Blood League accumulated commissioner rewards totals, and it's a pretty big deal. Normally, a commissioner, from my understanding, when you take over a new league, I think you get something like 100. You could correct me if I'm wrong. I think you get 100,000 to start with, and I think 10 free matches when you take over league. I may be wrong. It's been a while.
I think it's they give you 50,000 and yeah, 5 free
Less,
matches for under
even
if you're under
less.
50. Yeah, oh yeah.
Something like that. But in my case, because of the fact that we hit 50 in the first 2, I actually secured those totals, and the totals are significant. I'm inheriting 5 million in iCash and 250 free matches to get things going. So it's a pretty big deal because now I can hold some major, major tournaments, major prizes, and give back to these managers that would normally have had to wait a long, long time for a commissioner to accumulate those kind of totals for them. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's a big deal, like you said, just to be able to
Yeah.
accumulate free matches over, years and years of commissioning. That's awesome that she allowed you to do that.
Yeah, I was kind of because my thing was I was very selective in the new blood of how many, as this was something I was actually thinking about long term with new blood with the new blood league, but since that kind of folded and now I'm focusing everything obviously on the WWL, I decided, I reached out to her. I said, listen, I have this was sitting there. At one point I actually gave this I think it was half of that to another commissioner in another league. And because they were trying to get that league going, and I gave it to them, but I think something happened with that league, and it kind of went south. And he actually gave it back to me, so it was kind of like I kind of banked a little bit, and then I got it rewarded back to me, and it kind of added after the fact. So that's the reason why it's so high. So it's kind of like I made an investment without even realizing it, and it came back to me tenfold. So pretty
Nice.
stoked
Yeah, no,
about that.
that's that's a nice topic right there all in itself. I mean, if you're a commissioner out there, make sure you're keeping tabs on your banks.
Oh, it's a good thing to do because it gives you leverage. It gives you some wiggle room to play around with tournaments and lure in new managers that might normally have not come in. Because some managers, they have different reasons to play, and there's actually some that actually play just to get into the Hall of Fame, so they need that extra money, to put them over the edge. So what better way to do that than to get into, a high stakes tournament and probably cash out right away if they win it. So
Right.
it's to each his own, I guess.
No, no, yeah, I kid you not, man. I mean, we've actually gone on air with a few managers that are trying to pay some tributes to a fallen friend, and they made a wrestler for them, and they're just trying to get them, like you said, trying to get them into the Hall of Fame, as a small tribute to them,
Yes, it's funny you mentioned that. I hope the managers don't say anything to me about this. I'm not gonna mention names, but one of the main I guess motives for me to continue with the WWL was because back in the NBL, there were a couple managers actually that God rest their soul, they're not with us anymore, and they were kind of like some of the big factors of me continuing the NBL at the time and pushing me and making me become a better commissioner for it. And my whole thing was like bringing the WWO back. I'm kind of like this entire run as commissioner is really dedicated to both of them, to be honest. And I actually have, if you notice on the bulletin cover at the very bottom, I do give that shout out to them, and it's gonna stay there permanently on the front of every bulletin going forward, just as to commemorate them and to make sure that they know that they're in our thoughts. So
Yeah, that's beautiful.
yeah, man. Sometimes you gotta do things like that just to remind them that they're not forgotten. So, and they're definitely not at all. So some other aspects of the league people probably don't know. So I'm just putting that out there. But yeah, so those are some of the main things going on that I didn't get to mention in the last show that I definitely wanted to touch on in this one. But
Now,
another
as I'm looking at this, uh, you said you were going to get into the performance trackers.
Oh yeah. I'm not gonna get into the whole thing. Obviously, I did already finish the singles, which is the one that takes the longest. It's so many wrestlers. Plus we had some new wrestlers debut this cycle, so I had to make sure I put them in there as well. I'm only gonna focus on the top 10 because I feel they're the ones that deserve the spotlight. And I'm also gonna touch on, this is why I love the performance tracker. I touched on this before the show, where it kind of lets me see, gives me a snapshot of who's doing what and why they're in those positions. Not just, okay, this person's in first, this person's in second. Now I'm going to be able to tell you why this person's in first or in second, or why are they there and they didn't even win titles? Like, how is that possible? Well, I'm going to explain that. And I think that's one of the best features about this, where it gives those, I mentioned this in the last show, it gives managers who wouldn't normally hit the title page a chance to climb the ranks and actually to contend for those Mayhem titles that they wouldn't normally.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so we had a little hiccup. I had an incoming call. Sorry about that. So that's, to me, it's the beauty of this whole thing, being able to just see real quickly and say, okay, this wrestler did this one did this. It's a beautiful thing. It takes time to do, but at the end of the day, it's the payoff is amazing. So let's see. So
Are
right
we
now
going? Are we going top to bottom?
I'm going top to bottom. This is the current. This is the top 10. There are a few more because there are some ties in for some of the places. But I'm gonna go from, let's see, I want to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's 13 right now that round out the top 10 again because some of them are tied for a certain spot. But I didn't want to leave them out, obviously. So from the first place, obviously we have dentist Dinko Larve. I don't know what else I could say about this guy. He's two-time league champion. That in itself says a lot because we've only been around for 2 cycles and he's already blessed the top championship twice. So not only did he win it in the first cycle, but no one was able to take the belt off of him. So I think that was an amazing feat. And on top of that, obviously the guy went he went 24-0 in the first cycle and last cycle 16-0. So nobody's been able to beat him, and his win percentage is at 100%, which to me is just amazing at this point in the game. Because again, there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of, even though there's a lot of new managers, a lot of them are actually really good. So I was kind of shocked that he was able to retain, so quickly out of the gate. So kudos to Dentist for that feat. Second place, I have the Impassive Knave. This is what I was talking about with regards to some people being high up in the ranks, but not necessarily winning titles. Because Impassive Knave, right now he has 39 points, following Dentist is 50. He's ranked second, no title wins, but Bulletin 1, he went 23-2. Bulletin 2, he went 22-2. His average win percentage is 91.67, and he won this cycle's battle royal, and he's already tossed out 9 people along the way.
Nice.
So to me,
Now, I mean, in terms of just in league stuff, who the hell tossed out the dentist? Or was he not in the battle royal?
he got tossed out early. I think it's again, it's a matter of how it all plays out.
Oh yeah,
Fortunately,
I could imagine if you see somebody like that in the ring, everybody's gonna team up and
oh
throw
yeah,
the hell on out.
so 2 people ganged up on him to get him, maybe 3, who knows, and they got rid of him. They probably got rid of him early. If anything, for the next show, I'm gonna dig in and find out exactly, just for shits and giggles to see who it was that threw him out. But I would like to know myself, to be honest. But so yeah, again, that's to highlight why he's passive name is up there because again, he didn't win titles, but look what he did, and plus he's submitting quality trash talk as well. So all these things come into factor when it comes to being in contention for these mayhem titles and working your way up the list. After him in third place with 35 points is Big Daddy Johnson. Right now, he's actually been pretty impressive. Right now, his average win total is 91.07. Bulletin 1, he debuted going 3 wins, 0 losses. This last cycle, he won 23 matches, lost 3, and tied twice. And he also, so far, has taken the Ending Misery and Band of Distant Wars TV tag titles. So he's
Nice.
definitely up there for a reason. So that's pretty impressive as well. In fourth place, we have our most fierce female competitor, who I'll touch on later, Miss Eva Danger. I don't know what else I can say about this female. Right now, she's 34 points, ranked fourth. Cycle 1, she had the most wins in the league. She was 26 wins, 1 loss. This cycle, she did an equally impressive 16 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw. Her average win total is 90.26. She went from Twisted Carnage champion, and now she is the Ending Misery champion. So she got rid of one belt and acquired another one, which is pretty impressive.
Nice. You know, you gotta stay on that title page.
Yeah, that's the goal. You gotta stay up there, and then eventually, hopefully, get that Crest of Chaos. So let's see what happens next cycle. Maybe she'll get that from Dinko. Who knows?
Uh-uh.
That'll be something. I'll tell you that happens. That'll be great. But we'll never. We'll see. Let's see. In fifth place, I have Hal Uranus. He's 29 points right now. In Bulletin 1, he was actually undefeated. He had 20 wins, 0 losses. In this cycle, it wasn't as active, but he still managed to win 3, only 1 loss. So his total average is 87.50, and he's so far has won the Band of Distant Wars TV tag titles. So again, he's there for a reason. Let's see. In
And
tied
did he get bonus points for wrestling naked or?
Red Chaps. So he's definitely I'll touch on that later in his little segment, which is fucking hilarious to me. But
Uh,
yeah, we'll get into that one. But let's see who's tied for fifth, right under him with 29 points as well, is Dark Mistress Morgana. She's I would probably argue to say that she's the second, most highest ranked female currently right now. She's definitely on a tear as well. Not as impressive as Miss Eva Danger, but still she's up here for a reason again. She's tied for fifth. Her debut cycle, she went 5-0. In this cycle, not as impressive. She won 5 but lost 10. Ouch. Her total average is 66.67, but she did win the Court of Torment Championship, and she's already tossed out 6 people in the Battle Royal. So
oh yeah,
again,
and now let me touch on that real quick. I mean, there's some fighters that don't like scrubs. There's some fighters that only stick to the title page. So there's some fighters that even if they are going to have a tough cycle, they're going to go after the best.
this is what I mean exactly. Like some you could tell right away who goes after the higher, the scrubs and who doesn't. But again, not only some people do that, but then they do other things aside from that as well. So I have to take that into consideration also. I can't just single out a man and say all you do is go after scrubs. But if you're also doing something else that's equally impressive, then I'll be like, all right, that kind of balances out. I
Oh
can't
yeah, no,
throw
and
them.
and let's say it like it is, Melvin. I mean, every promotion needs to have some of their stars, you know, go into different arenas and have that scrub match to just promote the league.
Yeah,
So it has to happen. We get it. So as a
exactly.
superstar in the league, of course, yeah, you have to have some scrub matches because you're getting paid to wrestle, and if we're
Right.
paying you to wrestle, you're gonna wrestle wherever we want you. Then we can't have a pay-per-view match everywhere we go. So.
Exactly. So you got to throw those squash matches in there somewhere. Let's see. Okay, so after that we have again tied for fifth as well. We have Batman. So far in Bulletin 1, this guy right here. Even though he's tied for fifth, again this is impressive. He's actually only fought twice. He fought in Bulletin 1, he went 1-0. Bulletin 2, he went 1-0. 100%. But in both bulletins, he managed to win a title. He went from Twisted. Right now, he's currently the Twisted Carnage champion. He took
Nice.
this thing. And prior to that, if I'm not mistaken, he was also part of the Circle of Sanity TV six-man titles. So that's to me is amazing. If you only took 2 matches, you already bagged 2 belts. So
That's impressive. Yeah, that's a nice percentage right there. That's a nice.
those are quality matches right
Oh
there. So
yeah.
I tip my hat off to his performance. That's actually amazing to me. What else? Let's see. We got in sole possession of sixth place. We have Justin Kyle. He was actually a former manager in the former wrestler in the New Blood League. Came back over to the WWL. His debut cycle, he was 3-0, impressive. In this cycle, not so much. He had 8 matches, lost all 8 of them. So right now his total average is about half, so he's at 50%. But again, he's a champion. He's been a Belt of Subtlety champion and a Circle of Sanity TV 6-man. So he's there for a reason. Again. Let's see, in seventh place, right behind him, we have Van Death Valen, one of the members of the Affinity, and I'll touch on that later. He's currently ranked 7th. Bulletin 1, he was 2 wins, 0 losses. In Bulletin number 2, he was 2 wins, 6 losses. So right now, his win percentage is a little bit over 60, is at 62.50. But again, Whispered Agony champion and a Band of Distant Wars tag champion. So he has gold as well. He's there for a reason. Nice. It's currently ranked number 8th, Impenetrable King. Bulletin 1, he went 3-0, 100%, and in this bulletin 5-0. So he's another one not going after scrubs. He's going after hard-hitting, wrestlers, and he's beating them. So he's 8-0, and he's also won a dark match victory, and he's up there because of that, and his win average because he's undefeated. So he's definitely going to have his shine as well. And 3 more spots left. We had in sole possession of ninth, well, actually, no, tied for ninth place, Renegade Slade Stevens, another member of the Affinity. He, in his debut cycle, 3 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw. And in this bulletin, he went on a tear, 25 wins, 2 losses. It brought his total average up to 76.30. And he's up there because of that and some quality trash talk that he's been submitting. So all around, he's doing pretty great, if you ask me. He's just, I guess, 1 cycle shy of getting a belt. So let's see what happens with him.
Oh yeah, he'll hit eventually.
It's gonna happen if he keeps this up. It's definitely maybe next cycle. We'll see. Hopefully, we'll be talking about him in the next review. But let's see. Tied for ninth with him is Skyblade Tiger King. I mentioned him in the last show. Bulletin 1, he had 3 matches. He won 1, lost 2. This cycle, he picked it up and did a little bit better. 5 wins, 2 losses. So he averaged out to a little over 50%. Right now, he's at 52.38%. But he is the Whispered Agony champion, and he did win his dark match victory against, it was Irritated Cannibal. They're the ones that are feuding right now. And that was actually interesting because that dark match, actually, well, not a dark match, sorry. It was for the, it was a Turnbuckle Thursday main event. It was actually with the Calamity contract spot on the line. So the winner of that was to be able to get into the tournament. So now Skype is officially in the Calamity tournament, and Cannibal was going to have a backseat and have to watch from the side. It kind of sucks, but it is what it is. And let's see. In holding out sole possession of 10th place, we have Batgirl. In her first cycle, this is another one. She went 1-0 in her first cycle. In this cycle, she had 8 wins, 3 losses, 2 draws. So her average is 80.77. She's a Girdle Berserk champion and also a Circle of Sanity TV 6-man. So that rounds out the top, I want to say 13 people in total. But again, you see why they're there. It's not just, okay, they're there with a number. This is the reason why they're there, and I think that's what's so great about the performance tracker.
Oh, no, it gives you that, in-depth look, definitely.
Yeah, I love that it allows me to see every little thing, and I could track every wrestler, what it is that they're doing, cycle in, cycle out. If they're doing great, if they're doing bad, if they're doing mediocre. It's just a great way to be able to visualize everything, keep track of, especially down the line. If I want to do like a recap of, which wrestlers did the best for the whole year, I can easily go right away and see exactly what this person did for the entire year. I won't have to go crazy looking for it. It's all there in front of me. So I think that's a great thing to have for any commissioner, any of you commissioners out there that aren't doing that, I would suggest you do it. It's good to keep track of all your wrestlers and their accomplishments because you never know when something might happen and you want to, pay it forward and show them, and pay a tribute to them and say, listen, this is what this guy did. So it's a good feature.
Now, we haven't mentioned it this show, Melvin, but you guys are also running your pro board. Give your pro board a little plug so like that people or they would have to reach out to you through the email to get access to that one.
Yeah, I do have the War Room Pro Board. I did send you a snapshot of how it looks and the structure that I touched on in the first show. To me, it's just an easy way to keep track of the league. I do put stuff in there you won't find in the bulletin and vice versa. And it's just an extension of the league. It helps, in case somebody doesn't have their bulletin on hand, they can easily go into the War Room on their phone and be able to track down whatever it is they need to see. And I also put like the whole values for all the federations up on there as well. Win-loss records. I put strategy totals up there as well. So again, certain things you won't find in a report that you will find there. It's just more of an ease of use and convenience. And there's also another it's another means for the trash talking. So like right now, for instance, it's funny you mentioned that. Right now, this top list on the performance tracker, this isn't official yet because anybody from now until I finish my next report, if they start jumping onto the war room and continue these feuds and dump some trash talk, like they're gonna get some points for those war room comments, and that's gonna help bump up their score. So somebody right now that's in fifth or sixth, they might end up in third or second. It depends how it plays out. So I give them an opportunity to keep climbing even after the fact. So
Nice.
let's see which managers take the initiative, log into the war room, and start continuing these feuds because I'm watching. And if I see that they're writing something, not only am I going to highlight it in my report, but I'm going to give them points in their rankings for it as well. So it's a good deal.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, that's good to throw that around so like that they get a better I thought these were already set. No, but to know that they're not
Oh
set in
no, it's
stone,
not.
it's even.
Subject to change, my friend. It's up to them. I give them the opportunity. It's up to them. So let's see what happens. Hopefully, when they hear this, they're gonna go, "Shit, wait a minute, I need to get in there and say
You're
something."
like, where am I at? Where am I at?
Yeah, exactly. So I kind of let it, it goes hand in hand. It plays off of each other, which is great. So,
Now,
um,
I know you touched on the Calamity one. Did we go over the Ultimate?
oh, the Ultimate Eliminator. Yes, that's another one that I did highlight it in this last bulletin. And that commissioner title is specific towards battle royal winners. Eventually, right now it's anyone who's won the battle. It's basically I have a structure where for the first four cycles, whoever won the battle royal and the three people behind them, they're making the tournament. So right now I have a total of 8 people. I currently have Minister of Hate, who was Cycle One's winner, Dark Mistress Morgana, Justin Kyle, Big Daddy Johnson. All four of those are from Cycle One. And now in Cycle Two, that made the next, wave of 4 people was Impassive Knave, who won this cycle's Battle Royal, Lord Larius, Hal Uranus, and Skyblade Tiger King. So right now, out of the 16, 8 slots are locked in. There's 8 more to go, and that's going to be for the next 2 cycles. And that tournament will begin at Wicked City Chaos because of the timing of it, which is perfect. And whoever wins this is going to win $250,000 plus 15 free matches for the manager. And they will become, obviously, the first ever Ultimate Eliminator X champion for the league. So,
Perfect.
oh, yeah.
And now, looking down on this, are we moving on to the front page?
Yes, we are. We're going to go over the title pages. Last time we just touched on who was the champions. We didn't say how they, got the titles and who they beat. So this time I just want to go over who exactly they defeated to earn those titles on the front page.
Perfect. Yeah,
So,
just to retouch, all these are all custom titles, so they're
exactly.
not your average regional, like I said. So it does make it fun to go over, who's hunting what belts, I guess you could say.
Exactly. You got it. So I'll start with the top, obviously the top title, Crest of Chaos. I can't say it enough. Dentist Dinko, nobody beat him. So 2-time champion, and because of that, he won the 50,000 and 15 free matches for his guy. Great job on that. Twisted Carnage champion, we have Batman, who defeated Miss Eva Danger to take that belt. Beat her with the Batarang suplex by 3, and the guest referee for that match was Ron Stonewall. He's one of the new members of the Stonewall Brothers that joined the league recently as well. I'm actually looking forward to seeing what they got for us, but we'll see. Next up, we have the Smoldering Sorrow champion. The winner was Donnie the Blazing Flamingo, and he actually pinned Minister of Hate with the Caribbean Plunge by 3. And guest referee for that match, another one of the Stonewall brothers, Buff Stonewall. I don't know if that's a trend or what. Maybe they're in cahoots with Mayhem to get in these titles. I don't know. These matches. Court of Torment champion, we have Elik, and he acquired that belt by beating Dark Mistress Morgana by disqualification. Apparently, a nail file was used, so the belt went to Elik in that instance. So you got to get him any way you can. It's just a nail file, chair, whatever it is, but he got the belt. Belt of Subtlety champion was WWO Masked Icon number 6. We discussed the Masked Icons. If you want to touch on it again, let me know. I will. But I did go over that in the last show. And Masked Icon number 6 defeated Justin Kyle with the Scorpion Deathlock to win the title. Next title was Ending Misery champion. Again, Miss Eva Danger. Even though she lost the Twisted Carnage, she ended up gaining this one by beating Big Daddy Johnson with Falling Fate by 1. Pretty impressive to lose one and gain another. Let's see. Girdle of the Berserk champion, WWO Masked Icon number 8. Pin Batgirl with the Avalanche by 5. I'm really excited to be able to reveal who the Masked Icons are. I have no idea, man. I'm just like biting my tongue right now because I can't reveal who it is. It's gonna happen either next cycle or the cycle after. It might actually happen sooner than that. I think you know what I'm talking about, but that's between us. Um, let's see. Infernal Vengeance champion, we have Robin, who outmuscled Gogo Suzuki, the Asian Wonder, with Holy Moly Roly by 2. We have the Gun Belt of Hell champion, Daddy's Girl number 2. That's one of Big Daddy Johnson's girls. Actually, there's 3 of them in the league. And she beat Pickles Dilhofer. I'm not even know if I'm pronouncing that right. But with Here's Your Money, the guest referee was Mistress of Pain for that one. Chain of Echoes champion. You notice in the trend here, WWO Masked Icon number 1 outmuscled Lou Anderson. It says Doctor. It's actually supposed to be Junior. They made a typo on that. So it is Lou Anderson Jr. By way of Scorpion Deathlock. Shattered Bloodlust champion, Daddy's Girl number 3. Defeated Shecky Chucklestein with Bad Times by 4.
Hey, man, those Daddy's Girls are doing well, huh? It's undefeated, both of them.
Listen, that whole faction is doing good. They all came in together and they're really doing, a lot of damage early on. So it's going to be interesting to see if they could keep this up or if this is just like a one-time thing. Time will tell, I guess, because there's a lot of competition in the league. So we'll definitely see. Whispered Agony champion, we have Skyblade the Tiger King, and he destroyed Van Death Valen, one of the members from the Affinity, by Sword of Destruction by 2. Next up, we have the Maltese. We have Band of Distant Wars champion. Here we go again. Daddy's Girl number 2, Daddy's Girl number 3. And they defeated the Affinity, Van Death Valen, and the Shadow, Tony Lowen, with Here's Your Money. TV Tag Champions, Brittany and Chastity, destroyed Big Johnson and Hal Uranus by 3 with the DDT. And the guest referee was Lou Anderson Jr. Circle of Sanity champions, we have Johnny the Jet Flamingo, Donnie the Blazing Flamingo, and Juan One Flamingo, and they annihilated Cardinal Sin, Bishop Faith, and Lord Evil Priest. Those are all members of Legion of Darkness with the Caribbean Hangover by 10. And then finally, the TV 6-man champions, Batman, Batgirl, and Robin annihilated Justin, Kyle, Slash, and Crown with the Battering Suplex to win the titles.
Nice. Yeah, no, that definitely brings a different feel to the front page. Just knowing who's chasing who, and it definitely brings it out a little more. Now, as you mentioned some of those, I mean, I recognize a couple names. I mean, because there's like I said, the IWA is like I said, it's huge, but certain managers, certain fighters, through time just become iconic. So when you mention. Looks like Daddy's Girl beat the Shadow Tony and
yep.
Oh yeah.
Tony and Van Death Valen.
Oh yeah, and I mean, and like I said, certain characters, certain managers, they just their characters are just iconic. So yeah, kudos right there. Like I said, it sucks that you guys lost the tag teams, but like I said, I definitely recognize some characters coming over, and like I said, it's great to see. Great to see the mix here in the WWL.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it's funny because that manager, I've actually have a big history with that manager. We're actually running side by side in the same stable. We actually created our own stable for a while, and we had a nice run with it. So I'm very familiar with this manager, and he was actually one of the first people when I came back and said I wanted to do this whole WWL. He was like on board right away. So he was actually, I think, the first person to sign on with the league, to be honest. So. I'm actually really, really grateful that I have him. Again, I'm not going to mention names, but I'm grateful to have. He knows who he is.
Definitely. Now, we got to say it. I mean, even though Daddy's Girls are doing great, breakout star of the first 2 cycles, Miss Eva Danger, huh?
Oh man, I said I was gonna do it. I have to give her just due because she was a force in the New Blood League and now she's back here. I was really excited to have her character come back into the WWO. I think that the Wicked Warz League actually fits her persona a little bit better. Eva Danger is kind of like a controlled loose cannon. If that makes any sense. She's very strategic, very meticulous with the way she does things. But when she has her way, she's extremely violent, and it plays well with the whole theme of the league. She's just a standout right now. Again, not only did she, win the Twisted Carnage title right off the bat. Again, she came back and ended up winning the Ending Misery title this cycle, even though she lost the Twisted Carnage. So she managed to stay on the title page, which is impressive. Again, I mentioned that she had the most wins in cycle one, going 26-1. This cycle equally is impressive, going 16 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw against quality competition. Again, none of these are scrubs at all by any stretch of the measure. None of them were, these squash matches. These are all people coming after her, and she was able to fend off pretty much all of them and stay relevant. And right now, to me, she's leading the charge for the female division by far. I mean, I know there are. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of talent in the women's division right now. I touched on that on the last show. I think that this division is as stacked as any other league in the IWA. And I actually have some more inbound coming as well that are going to debut next cycle, and that's actually going to enable me to lock down the women's tag tournament. I'm not going to touch on the multis tournaments this show. It's going to be on the next one. But I will go more in depth on the female side with the division. But right now, Miss Eva Danger is by far the #1 female wrestler in the WWL until somebody proves me otherwise. So
Nice. I like it. Hell yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
well,
and let's say it like it is. I mean, she's the breakout star, I mean, obviously, the dentist is the back-to-back champion, but
yeah,
so like you said, some other fighters sometimes just, they stand out aside, even
uh,
though the champion's, doing his, damage, there's other fighters in the league, you
exactly.
know.
Yeah, because like to me, I wouldn't. To me, it's one of those things where obviously Dingo, he's the man, obviously. In the men's division, he's the man. He's already, he's on the front page. He got the cover of the Bulletin. He's a 2-time Crested Chaos champion. He's already in the spotlight. You know what I mean? So it's already guaranteed that he has that. But my thing with the breakout star is like it's the person right underneath that is kind of like in that shadow, but shouldn't be. And that's what Miss Eva Danger is. So to me, even though she's in Dinko's shadow right now, as far as who the main player is in the league overall, I feel she should be just as important or in that same, in the same breath as him because of what she's doing on her end for the female division.
Oh
So
yeah,
that's why I feel her the
now,
breakout star.
now, hopefully, the dentist can hold on to the belt long enough to have that match against Eva Danger, because that would be
Oh
awesome.
yeah, that would definitely be awesome to me. Again, I'm rooting for it. I actually would like to see even they just take the league title from him, but it's gonna be a tall task because again, they're both A1 competitors. It's obvious they're both here for victory. They're not here to play around at all. They're
Oh yeah,
making that
and don't take anything away from Batman and the rest of the people there
at all, not at all.
that he has to see before her. But now,
Oh yeah.
other feuds we got going on in WWL.
Yeah, we do. I'm not gonna get too in detail with them. I'm just gonna mention what these feuds are, because again, right now the league is still kind of in its infancy. So right now, some of these managers are getting their feet wet. Some of the wrestlers are kind of surveying the land and seeing, who they could start a quality feud with, who's ripe for the picking, who to stay away from. But right now,
Now, Melvin, is it safe to say that the managers are interacting on the board, kind of, so that there's a little bit of continuity with the trash
oh
talk?
yeah,
Because
it's
from what I read, it almost seems like like certain managers are already, like you might know, behind the scenes stuff, are already working together to bring some great shows to
oh
everybody, because it's beautiful.
yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes right now. That's the beauty, and this is the beauty of being a commissioner. You get to see the angles way before they materialize. So I'm already hearing amazing angles, amazing stories, feuds. People already saying, "Yo, who should I go after? Who's ripe? What's the best route to take with XYZ manager or this wrestler? And my job obviously is to kind of like guide the feuds and the trash talk, so to speak. But I still want to empower the managers and wrestlers to be able to go their own route. Also, I don't want to dictate everything at all. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm more here to just oversee it and kind of point people in the right direction. And right now, there's a lot of managers reaching out, and they already have their sights on certain other managers and their wrestlers with some amazing angles. Like there was one angle I touched on before the show with you that to me this is the most brilliant angle being played right now, and that's VHS Classics. And VHS Classics is consisted of, I'll tell you right now, it includes the 2-time champion, Dentist Dinko Larve. It's Chrissy, Pickles Dilhofer, Shaggy Chucklestein, Trick McHorsley, Lou Anderson Jr., Sweet Chuck, and Panos Patakos. That group makes up VHS Classics. And basically, the angle is that everything that's playing out right now in the WWL has already happened. These are a collection of VHS tapes that happened years ago. And right now, I guess their spokesperson, George Keoghan, every cycle he plays a different tape. And in that tape, it plays out what happened in the actual cycle itself. So to
That's
me, that
fucking awesome,
it is.
man.
It really is an amazing
Oh
angle.
man, yeah.
And
Oh
so like
yeah.
right now in the next interview it's gonna be with Dinko, but it's not because I'm basically gonna be interviewing when you go remember back in elementary school they wheel in those carts with the big TVs and a big VHS. He's gonna come in and pop in a VHS and it's gonna be the interview because it already happened. And it's fucking amazing if you ask me. So
That's oh yeah. Oh no, yeah, yeah. That one sounds fucking amazing. Hell yeah, it does.
but again, there's a lot of
Um,
playing out, a lot of storyline. There's some other good one. There's actually another really, really big one that I'm working on right now with a certain manager that you kind of tossed my way, I guess. And we're already in the works, and it's really good because there's actually some people in the league that this manager was already feuding with in another league. So I'm thinking it's gonna be another like rekindling story, kind of like me and Skyblade. But
nice.
and it's where if
Now,
yeah
can we talk a little bit Skyblade? I mean, I didn't mean to cut you off,
yeah
but I mean that
yeah
Skyblade promo. I mean, with the
yes.
tiger coming down. Oh man, I mean, and that just
He's
adds to the just the dimension that we're in.
listen, this guy again. I had feuds with him in ECL. He's amazing. He's the manager his manager is by far one of the best trash talkers in the game since that I've seen. And that's one of the main reasons I try to get him over in the WWL. And right now he's continuing to just breathe life into that character. And I'm actually super excited that Cannibal gets to rekindle that feud with him because again in ECL we probably ran, and I think it was in 2017 or 16, we ran the best feud in that league at the time, and it was the back and forth, and to be able to bring that into the WWL and again show the rest of the league, what a quality feud should look like, especially again for the newer managers. It's a thing of beauty because they're gonna go, holy shit, like these guys are going at it. There's gotta be some kind of animosity there, and it is. It's because we're bringing it from another league over. It's spilling over into the WWL. So, but Skyblade, he's a force to be honest. And again, right now he beat Cannibal, he beat my guy. So now he's in the Calamity contract. When he earned the spot, it's far from over that he won the battle, but he's not going to win the war. So it's we're going to be going at it for quite a few cycles from this point on. So
And the other one that caught my attention there was I want to call them the dynamic duo, but it's not only the dynamic duo; it's the dynamic trio with Batgirl.
yes, it
They
is.
look like they're going to be going after the Circle.
Well, it's actually the people they called out were Cardinal Sin, Bishop Fate, Lord Evil Priest. They're members of the Legion of Darkness. And I was actually surprised that they called them out like that. I really love the fact that Batman said, you know what, I need to step up and go after a group that I think is gonna be significant enough to warrant the attack. So when I read this, like it really pleasantly shocked me because some people in the league are probably thinking, oh, they're gonna stay quiet, and he said, no,
Oh,
I'm not.
he came right after him. Yeah, I thought it was the Circle of Doom, but yeah, no, you're right. It is the Legion of Doom that they're going. Legion of Darkness, excuse
Legion
me.
of Darkness, yes, correct. And that's the Legion of Darkness. They've been around for a while. They were actually also in the New Blood League briefly. I think they were in another league as well prior. I'm not entirely sure, but they're a respectable group, And there's some former other manager. They're former managers for another stable that converted into this, this I guess a rejuvenated stable, and it's the Legion of Darkness. So again, for Batman, Robin and Batgirl to go after them. I was like, "Holy shit, this is gonna be." I was like, "This is gonna be interesting." Either way you
now,
look at it.
now, I'll tell you who I'm feeling the worst for, brother.
Who's
Is
that?
I'm feeling bad for Evil because man, oh man, I know Stryker, and
Yeah.
I feel bad, Evil. I mean, I like I said, man, if you're a praying man, start saying your prayers because you got
Well,
something
and
coming.
it's funny because in this I mean, he did get the one up on Stryker in this cycle. They did attack him. It was actually a really good attack on Stryker. They kind of blinded him with some kind of powder, and I think Evil was beating him over the head with this crucifix that he calls Jezebel.
I love it.
It was a great little storyline there. They beat his ass. They got the best of him this time around.
Oh yeah,
And
oh yeah. But believe you me, I'm glad Evil
sure,
has Jezebel, and I hope he keeps Jezebel close by.
yeah,
Because if I know Striker,
listen,
yeah,
I know
watch out.
Stryker knows Barbie, and anyone who knows Barbie knows that there's problems. And this
Oh yeah.
guy, Stryker's been a nut job since the days of the War League. So he's been known, he's been around. He's not a newcomer. He's in my opinion, he's IWA's nut job. He's the loose cannon for the whole league, for the whole IWA. Every time I see him in a league or I see a write up, he does some of the most off the wall shit, and he's here. So
Watch it.
evil.
So watch out. Watch out.
So I'm pretty sure you know his history well. So it's gonna be interesting to see what how that whole feud plays out. And it's
Like
funny
I said,
because
I'm
my
not.
guy's kind of loosely involved in that. My main guy in passive Nave is kind of the one that keeps Striker at bay, only because they share a history in the New Blood League. But it's one of those things where I'm like, listen, I'm just gonna let Striker do what he wants to do. If he wants to run roughshod on these guys, then so be it. So we'll
Nice,
see.
nice.
We'll see
Now,
how that goes
now,
out.
I mean, I know we mentioned him earlier, but I mean, are you just going to allow him to just wrestle like that the whole 2019, or is he required to wear a towel, or what's the deal with Hal and Uranus?
And
What's the deal?
Uranus, listen, this guy. I read this guy's trash talk and I was on the fucking floor. I was like, this is what I love. This guy, he's completely out there. His character is like he's goes around flaunting the Johnson, talking about he wants to give everybody a shot of the vitamin D and it's too much for them. I do believe he called out one of the Affinity members, Craven Kraus, this cycle, saying that the vitamin D was too much for him. I was just on the floor laughing. I love the whole segment he has. He has a great talk show in Uranus, and I'm sitting there reading it, and I'm just cracking up to myself like this is golden right here. This guy, he's gonna be a big time player in this league. Um, I can see here laughing because I'm looking at the picture that I kind of put together his whole like layout for the trash talk, and that's gonna be a show to look out for every single cycle. Because if this is any indication of what that show is gonna be like, then man, let's say it's gonna be WWL's comic relief every cycle.
Nice. Oh yeah, no, like I said, when I was glancing over, I'm like, holy shit, man, you gotta love it, man.
And it's
Now,
funny because for some people that have a very keen eye, I don't know if anyone's gonna catch what I did there, but I'm just gonna say this once. If anyone's looking at the report and if you look at the Into Uranus segment, if you look really good at the artwork that I chose to do, you might catch something that you wouldn't have normally noticed at first that kind of ties into the whole Into Uranus segment. But I'm just gonna leave it at that. If you have a good eye, you're gonna be cracking the fuck up. I'll leave
oh,
it at
I love it, I love it.
kind of a
Oh man.
subliminal that way.
Now, Melvin, any other feuds? I thought we covered. No, no, we forgot one. The Man That Killed and Playboy.
Oh yeah, so actually it's Tara Scream, I believe is Man Killer. Let me just make sure I get her name correct. I don't want to jack this up. I want to give her a just due. But I do believe because she's one of the newer members that came into the league. And yeah, it's Man Killer Tara Scream. This feud actually originated in the War Room. She came out of nowhere and just called out Playboy. He's actually Shane Cole is the leader of Undisputed Era in the WWL, and she came out of literally left field and just called him out and really dug into him. And in this actual cycle, to be honest, I gave her trash talk of the cycle because to me, the attack was so sadistic because she kind of did it in a story mode. It was like if you read the trash talk, she's basically I believe he was like signing autographs for some of his fans, and she just like was like it's almost like you're reading a novel. She's like about to do these things, and then she's just beating his ass.
Oh shit.
It's like it's in third person story mode, and it was like it's almost like when you're reading it, it's I can't. You just gotta read it for yourself. I can't really put into words how good it was, but it's not your normal trash talk. It's not your normal just attack somebody. It's like looking at it from another. It's like she's looking at herself beat him, but outside of herself. It's
Nice.
fucking crazy. So I definitely gave her trash talk of the cycle for that, regardless, because of the cleverness behind the way she attacked him. If you get a chance to read it thoroughly, you'll see what I mean. It's kind of like it was very well written, in my opinion. So I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to come from that. But that actually led to one of the first matches to be locked in for Wicked City Chaos because Shane Cole replied in the War Room and basically said, "Okay, you're gonna come at me. You think you're not gonna be this female that's gonna come out of nowhere and try to badmouth me. So let's have a Philadelphia street fight at Wicked City Wars." and
Nice.
they came to me and said, "Can you okay this?" I said, "But of course." So
Bada
that's one
bing.
of the
Yeah,
matches that's
like,
gonna be down. Yeah, it's
oh
already
man.
penciled in for Wicked City Chaos, so it's gonna be a intergender. It's gonna be a Man Killer versus Shane Playboy in the Philadelphia Street Fight. So that is one of the matches locked in for Wicked City Chaos.
Nice. Now
Mhm.
I'm just keep moving down right here. Looks like Judges of Death and
Yes,
the
it's actually the
Maskman.
dark. I believe it's the Dark Judges. I think I was pronouncing it right. It's the Dark Judges. They did make their debut this cycle. Actually, the cover of my report is Judge Death. He's the leader of the Dark Judges. So if you see him ripping that guy's face apart in the front of my cover, there's a reason why I chose that picture. That's because that's his character. That's who that is. So just for the record, anyone who sees my covers, it's always going to be significant to either a character in my league or something that's going on in the league. It's not going to be just a random picture that I'm throwing there. I'm strategically picking these covers to bring about a better understanding or to highlight someone that's either coming into the league. Usually I do it for newer managers just to give them a quick spotlight. But there's always going to be some significance to whatever the cover art is for my report. So keep that in mind anytime you see these report covers. Whatever image I chose to put there, it's there for a reason. And in this case, it happens to be the Judge of Death. He's coming in, I believe it's 3 or 4 other people coming with him. And they're basically they're gonna try to bring their own kind of justice into the WWL, and it's not gonna be the good kind. I can tell you that much. This guy's just a fuck, and he's gonna come let everybody know just how crazy he can be. I'm thinking borderline striker nuts. So it's gonna be interesting to see. Maybe those two will clash down the line. I hope so, because their mentalities are kind of the same. So that'll be a really interesting feud if it does play out that way. But we'll see. I can't. We'll get to that bridge when we cross it.
Nice, nice. Now, Melvin, I'm going to go ahead and ask for last words right now. We're right around that hour mark.
Awesome.
Any last thoughts for this show? I know we want to come back and cover the tag and six man on
Oh yeah,
another show.
For the next show, it's gonna be on more focused on the multi. So I'm not gonna cover singles at all in the next show. It's only gonna be tag teams and six man just to give them some spotlight. I want to kind of change it up for each of the shows, and I don't want them to feel like they're being left out because they're equally as important as the singles competitors are, in my opinion. I'm gonna touch on the men's side. I'm gonna touch on the women's side, who's doing the best in each division. Is the tournaments that are going on for the belts. By then, both of them should be locked in and ready to go for Wicked City Chaos. I'm really looking forward to both of those tournaments to decide who's going to become those first tag team champions in either division. But so that's down the pipeline. Obviously, hopefully it'll be maybe a week after the next cycle debuts. It depends on how the schedule works out. But I definitely want to, just have the focus be on the tags and the multis in the next cycle. And I guess my final word is again to all the managers looking to come to a different league that's maybe a little bit out of the norm for what they're used to. Definitely come check out the WWL. Reach out to me, newbloodmayhem@gmail.com. If I feel you're a good fit, then you'll definitely be invited into the league. Don't forget the match deals I mentioned at the beginning. And we got a lot of good things coming, down the pipeline. Some really big angles about to play out. I'll tell you some of them behind the scenes in future shows. But things are looking really, really, really prosperous for the WWL right now.
Nice, nice. Like I said, this is an open invitation. Like I said, it, commissioners that want to take advantage, are going to take advantage. And those of you guys that are in the WWL, Melvin Mayhem has reached out, and looks like we are going to keep these shows moving forward. And like I said,
Absolutely.
like I said, I hope we can get him on as much as possible. Keep the league information flowing through you guys. Again, reach out to him. Get on that board, get your trash talks going. Uh, and like I said, keep listening.
Yeah.
You've been listening right now to the WWL Commissioner, Melvin Mayhem, and myself, IWA Flip. You guys have a good night.